evaluation meeting.
Understood.
So I need to respond. Huh?
I'm about to just turn this on and tell everybody what's about to happen.
You already live?
Yeah.
Oh.
Should I not
You
be?
just been live already?
No, I just started it. Should I?
Dang, you did that fast as hell.
It was already primed and ready. So I was like, but see, I could just turn off the mic if I need to.
I don't have to say anything. I just,
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, you're good. So I'm gonna turn on everything and have it all set up to where you can just see what's going on.
Yeah, because
you're
I
good.
got this on the route, and I was just like, if I don't
Hey.
respond to her now, then I'll.
No, I understand.
When I leave here, I gotta go do something else. So it's like.
I understand. You're all good.
She called me, and then one of my students, they need me to help them with their EPK. So I'm like, 10-2.
I understand. Okay. So you guys, today we are continuing the opening dialogue or the internal dialogue from the band members. And man, I literally like missed all these messages at one time. Oh, you said almost 2 years? I literally must have left like right before you sent these messages.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I pulled up and I think it was like 11:33 maybe, and then I got it.
11:33.
I mean, my mind.
You mean
2:33.
Okay.
My bad. I don't.
Oh, so you've been here a minute.
About 3 minutes. 3, 4. Well, I mean it's 2:43 now, but good 10 minutes.
Okay. So yesterday you guys got a chance to see a little bit of the behind the scenes and all of that, which I hope you guys enjoyed that. And today you're going to be able to hear the internal dialogue of Big Mama. She's going to let you guys understand her diary day. Pretty much just give you guys a understanding of what went on. So today you might get a double header because Joe might be coming back later today. And this week I just want to make sure that we're going live consistently. Even if it's later, I want to make sure that we're going live. So you guys might get a couple shorter episodes, but more frequently. So this one, I'm not sure how long this episode will be, but it's going to start off with Big Mama telling you her story. I'm going to give her some time alone to talk, and then I'm going to come back in and then ask her some questions. So just so you understand, this is going to be sort of like real world road rules, sort of how you would just like talk into the camera, have your time to just talk, and then I'll come in and then we can talk about some of the things that I talked about and, you know, some of the things you talked about, and then we can just talk about some of the future plans. I can ask questions, and then I'll give more explanation to the questions and all that stuff. But just feel confident to talk about whatever you want to talk about. I'm just going to give you some time. Just hold that mic, and I'm going to double check the audio is okay.
All right.
Before I get out of here.
All right. Don't stay gone too long.
I know. It's not going to be too long, but I'm going to give you at least 10 minutes.
Oh, that's way too long.
That is?
Yeah.
It's not going to take that long?
Not even. I don't need 10 minutes.
That is so funny.
I'm right straight to the point. You can stay in here and ask me the questions if you want. Right.
Super fast.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool though. Alright, just give me a mic check.
Oh, mic check. Can you hear me? I am speaking to you.
Oh, that's perfect. Joe said, Big Mama, your arm.
Big Mama, your arm. That is hilarious. Every time he says it is hilarious. Joe, Rodeo Joe in the house. How you feeling? I hope your day was great
That
with the
is so
kids.
funny.
Kids and the parents, shoot. Know how that go.
Alright, so okay, so we're doing good. I'm gonna take this off,
Okay.
and then you can just go on and talk about your
My day.
experience going up to being there and all of that stuff. I'm gonna have you
Where
here.
I'm at? Which camera?
It's gonna be here
This one?
and here, and I'm just gonna like switch
Okay.
between the two of them.
Cool. All right. Well, my name is Big Mama, as Rodeo Joe said. Big Mama, you on. But for the most part, my day was actually smooth. I knew I was prepared to get up early, as I always usually do. I went to bed on time, kinda, I guess. But I'll say I went to bed at a decent time in order to wake up and not be tired. I was refreshed. I got me a good meal. As far as that night before, leading into the day, in transition when I got here, knowing that needed to meet at 1. Before that, I just pretty much relaxed and laid around in the bed and got my mind right and made sure I was centered before stepping out the house. By the time I got here, but let me rewind. Prior to that, I was trying to figure out what I was really gonna wear. I really was.
Yeah, that was
Eh,
good.
Yeah, even the overalls thing. Even the day before that, I was still in my mind. Even after saying the overalls, I was just like, I don't know if this is the overalls fit type of vibe. And it wasn't a bad decision, even if we would have put on overalls or not.
Right.
It just, I don't think that it full-fledged gave let's really wear overalls for this particular performance.
Yes.
I think it'll be dope if we did just some content out in a field or something with our overalls on. I think that would be dope. Or by a barn or something of that type of nature, for sure. But yeah, after sitting with that, my spirit got back up, even after hanging up my overalls and looking at them, putting that fit together and sitting it to the side. I blinked twice and I said, oh, well, I'm wearing this. I think that'll be cool. Put that over there. Threw it on. Got here on time. And again, just wanted to be present for whatever was happening at that time, no matter if we were going to rehearse here before we left or whatever we were going to do. I just wanted to make sure that I was on time. And being that, you were packing up things to get ready to go, I'm definitely grateful that I fulfilled my stomach at Mo Brunch and Brews before getting there. And yeah, I think that it was great leading up to where we needed to be into the destination.
How was your loading process?
My loading process? Oh, it was fine. I just had to put my somebody's having a right. I was just about to say that. Child abduction. We know how that goes.
Dang.
It's very much so unfortunate.
Dang.
North Richland Hills. Where's that?
That's in Dallas.
Oh,
That's in like.
you know your Texas, don't you?
Well, I used to live over there. I used to go to school over there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, good to know then.
Voeo.
That's crazy. I just asked him that, and he's like, "Yeah, that's in Dallas." Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's exactly what popped up.
Yeah.
15-year-old Hispanic female.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yep. Missing child. They don't say if they're in a car or not. That's usually what they say. It's a yellow car and da da da. However, back to what loading process. It was smooth. I already had my drum actually in my bag the night before upstairs. I usually take it out of course, the bag, but me knowing that I was going to take that drum with me, I just kept it in the bag, ready to go. Had it at the door actually, waiting on me to pick it up and just move along.
That's a bad.
When I got here, it was in the front seat of the car. I put it in the trunk so I can go get food and then take it out. But yeah, other than that, it was smooth sailing.
What about when we were doing like the in-ear monitors, and then actually like during the show when the in-ear monitors were working and all that stuff? How was that?
I'll say, life isn't life without challenges.
Right.
And getting to utilize them as we were getting to our last portions of our rehearsals leading up to the show, I would definitely say it was different hearing the sound so close and intimate in my ears to a point where getting to the show, and it was very much so intimate, but it was louder than it was here that one day when we were trying to get the levels together.
Right.
It was so loud that it was overbearing, but then when I did take out, I felt, because I was also next to, I don't know what kind of, those big old speakers the subs. I was next to those big subs. It was almost great for me to still have, even though again it was loud either way.
Because your stuff is still playing through the sub.
It was playing, and
you could still hear yourself a little bit through.
I could.
See, and you're right, because I have mine still on my ears, so I could hear the fuzziness, but it was too loud. And what I realized is the gain on the input was up too loud. And it just needed to be down, because he was trying to turn it up so we could hear more of it. And we needed to turn our input down so that he could just actually turn it up, and then it wouldn't have been distorted in our ears.
Okay. And
that's why it was fucked up in everybody's ears.
Okay.
The gain was up too high.
Good to know.
Isn't that crazy, though?
Yeah. Because it was
horrible.
It was definitely horrible.
It was like...
Very much so. And at one point, as soon as it happened, I kind of looked. And I don't think that I made it obvious, but it was still one of those looks. And then I seen Joe definitely had both of his out. And again, I was very close to that speaker, that sub, to a point where, again, it wasn't that I could take both of them full-fledged out, but being that it was to my right, I took my left one out because
you could hear us.
I could hear you all through my left side.
And my amp was closer to you. So, like, if you were going to hear anything. And then when I told him to turn it up on the wedges, he gave us the same mix out of the in-ears into the wedges, I think. And that's why we could hear you, hear Joe, and hear me. Which, thank God for that.
No, for sure. Because I know when we did the sound check, though, he said that we were all going to be on the same...
But that was in our mixer. But from now on, see, what I learned is, from now on, if we ever do in-ear mixers, I'm still going to say, hey, we still want to turn on the wedges. I still want you to turn on the wedges. For him, give him the piano. For her, give her the djembe. For me, give me the guitar. I still want him up at least 30% and her up at least 30% in my mix. Okay, now if you could do that for each one of us, plus our in-ears, even if, oh shit, we can't hear nothing, we can pull them out real quick.
Right.
And then still listen like we do so much in practice.
Right.
You know? But it was definitely one of those things, like, we had to remember what we were doing, which was so scary, but it was good that we practiced so much and we didn't have other people in the band with us that didn't practice as much.
Right. No, for sure. And I will say, even on stage, I think that it bothered you a little bit, to a point when you said, we're having, you said the sound, something about the sound tech, the difficulties of that.
I was like, hopefully y'all are too high to
recognize. I'll say something about that. A lot of times people don't know until you acknowledge it.
Yeah. And it was one of those things to where I really didn't feel like most people could really tell what was going on. But for us, it was just us. It was a deal.
It was just us.
It was a real ordeal for us.
It was mainly us. It had nothing to do with anybody else.
Other people could really tell. Like,
not even.
They thought that the mistakes that were happening were just because.
Yeah, they didn't even probably know that they were mistakes, though.
Yeah, I know that there was a couple of notes where it was. I'm talking about.
Oh, especially when we got to singing, though, and I think that was funny, though, because Quay said that when she was in the bathroom, the two ladies was like, I didn't know Big Mama could sing, and I was just like, I don't even know how it freaking sounded. I could barely, when I started singing, I could barely hear myself at that point, especially when I was singing. But when I was playing the djembe, I could hear the djembe, and I tried to again, not play too hard to be overpowering, but also play loud enough for me to be able to physically hear what I also needed to hear, to know that I was, y'all could even hear the drum.
Those wireless things that you and I both use at first. I think I'm going to start using that in order to give them a signal to where they can send me one and I can get two, and then pan them left and right. And then that way we can have it to where, hey, maybe we have a mic just for you, we have a line just for me, and we have a line just for Joe, so we can mix ourselves a little bit if we have to, and turn us up as much as we need to or down as much as we need to.
Right.
And then we can still get the mix from the other people and then record out of our mixer. You know?
Right.
Because like this time, we learned there's a lot more. Our show could have gone much more flawlessly if we didn't have to worry about recording or taking pictures or stuff like that.
No, for sure, always.
That took a lot of time just for us not to get everything we needed in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, like, just taking care of stuff like that will allow us to have at least another 2 minutes, if nothing else, to get the in-ears going. Because I didn't even have my in-ears on for the first song.
Really?
If I would have had mine on, I would have heard the sound, and I would have said to the sound
something
guy
to him. Yeah, because I remember when you told him to turn up the...
But by the time I did that, we were already on the second song.
Right.
And so I was like, oh.
Yeah, because when he turned it up, it was like, I was like, oh, no.
So I'm like, after, I'm over here taking them out during, please, like.
Oh, please.
Like, we
oh, please.
Do this. And I wasn't even thinking, let me go back to our mixer and, like, turn it down some. But, oh, my God, it was just a learning lesson. And you learn fast when you make a mistake.
No, for sure.
You never forget it.
Yeah. And it also, this is something that I'm learning more and more within production as a whole, because even when I had a guest speaker yesterday, I brought my Zoom, and good thing I had already set up the main parts, but one of my previous students, he came by and he asked me, you need me to do anything? And I told him, I said, when I come back into this classroom, I'm gonna clip that mic on him and just make sure, I said, I already have it down at 5, you probably shouldn't have to touch any of that, but just make sure when you put it in your ears, it's not leaking into the red once we start talking. And he's, when I looked at him, he was like, it's good. And it went on for at least an hour, and it recorded the whole thing. He had to go to class, and he came back through to check on it and everything. And I was like, I'm glad that prior to this, though, me and him have had other encounters. And it might not have just been directly audio, but even with photography or videos, to a point where he knows the standard of what to expect. And that's me consistently teaching him certain things when I can. And it sticks with him, so he knows if it's not right, then let me try to figure something out, or at least let me acknowledge it and let her know that so then I can stop doing what I'm doing at the moment and take that pause. Or if I need to say, all right, y'all, let's have a quick 2-minute intermission real quick, and then go do what needs to be done. However, I know that that can't be particularly done within that moments of those shows, but if we can
I would have stopped the show.
I feel you, but if
I would have just been like, hey, hold on, let's just introduce everybody in the band for a second, and then while y'all introduce yourself, run to the back, check the.
Right.
I mean, we gotta have. That's why I was like, we need to have emotion each other. That's like something that's like a suicidal kind of thing.
No.
To be like. Hey,
I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't take it. I just. Ears. Look, ears. Because, look, I'm going to tell you how trauma works. If somebody's in the audience and they see you, like...
Oh, yeah.
It's just certain small things
like
that...
you would never think about bothering people. Like, oh, my God.
Yep, and they'll be like, oh, my God, I hated their show because they...
Yeah.
Or my friend passed away because of that, or you know what I mean, any of that, and it just doesn't leave room for things.
The first song is about going crazy and shooting yourself.
Right, no, exactly. So even if we, even if we just tap at the ears, or if we do some type of, whatever symbol in that type of nature, I think that would lead to that. But the moral of what I was saying is us even teaching the people that are around us those things. Remember, even the last couple rehearsals that we had, I was asking you more in-depth questions once we got to the in ears, because again, this was my first band performance.
Right.
I've performed, of course. I've performed in front of our audience. I've performed during meditation, being able to control the space in those types of manners, but being on, and I've performed with an artist before, just with, it's just my drum and then her music over the top of it. But again, a collective as a band, stamping it was my first time. And I think it's cool because it comes full circle. This year made 10, coming up will be 11 years, September 14th. No, September the 11th, 2014 is when I started my personal business. But Warehouse Live was the very first place that I went to record at and film.
That's awesome.
So within the 10 years, it came back full circle. Instead of me,
you're performing.
Hello.
That's
And I thought that
at
was
a new location.
hello.
And that was the
And you
first
get
time
it.
you were at that new location?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, because it used to be Rise Rooftop.
Yeah.
And so I went when it was Rise, but
but it's different.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that, and it's. I mean, the stage looks different from what it used to be. I mean, everything else looks the same. Though.
yeah, everything. I don't think that was gonna change any other parts of those components,
you didn't
but
have to change much of it.
no, not
It
even.
was fine. They just needed a home, and that was a great place. That was an upgrade. I don't think
parking, no, it wasn't.
The parking might not be an upgrade.
The parking sucks, but I don't think that it was an upgrade only because they had the access to the 3 rooms. Those three rooms, the 3 different components of the rooms, it mattered.
You're right.
It mattered, especially if you wanted to have something more intimate.
Yeah.
You still could have that access available.
Yeah.
You don't have to just book one big large space. And then what if you are somebody that you may have good music, but a lot of people may not be out where you can fulfill that big old space like that.
Yeah.
You only have that one component that you can go and purchase.
And there's not many places that have it like that. Like, it's like the House of Blues, and but there's not many places where it's like, well, there's the Matchstick Theater.
Yeah.
Which they're nice.
And
they're pretty affordable.
Yeah, facts.
Which, I mean, maybe we need to look into doing a show over there.
Yeah, I'm with that.
I mean, if we're gonna do a show, well, we gotta figure that out. But let's finish. Let's finish with your recap of the show. We had the in-ear problem, and then once everything started coming together, how were you feeling about it?
I was feeling. Yeah, I was feeling good. Especially, I mean, I come from a sports background. Shit happens all the time.
Yeah, that's true. You gotta readjust.
Yeah.
Go.
Quickly.
Exactly.
Or you're on the bench.
Exactly. Or you just crash and burn.
Yeah.
In front of everybody.
Hello.
And that's the worst. You know, that's what you do.
Either one is bad because the moment.
Crash and burn is the worst, though.
Both. Because guess what? Even if you happen to get to the bench, you're still about to crash and burn because you don't want to be over there on that bench.
Yes. You're going to have to do an emotional crash and burn as opposed to actual all out in the open, look at me crash and burn.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like once we started getting locked in, we figured it out. And I like the fact that when we had issues, instead of speeding up the music, we slowed the music down. As opposed to, rushing through it. Don't rush through the song.
Yeah, no.
Let's slow it down. If anything, let's slow it down and make sure that we got the notes right, as opposed to let's speed through everything.
Yeah, no.
Don't do anything right and then make a couple more mistakes just because we're going faster than we've ever gone before.
Right. I think that everybody felt the vibe. They felt the energy. They knew what we all as a collective knew what was going on. And the best emotional response to that is to breathe.
Yeah.
And I think that had a lot to do with everything that was going on. Just being able to breathe. We had the support system that was in the front line.
Yeah.
That was always good to look out and still see people that you recognize. And I think that really just came with the territory of where we were and how we performed.
Yeah, and then more people started coming.
Exactly. We heard more claps every time we ended a song.
Yeah, and then they kept on clapping. They thought we ended the song.
Yeah.
Like, So after the show, how did you enjoy the wrap up and then the loadout? How was that for you? The networking and all that.
I can say when, in general, especially when it comes to playing my djembe, it makes me high. It is something about playing music that floats me up to another space and time and level. Being able to get off the stage, and because even when I'm at the park or wherever, I don't really directly get into my car. If you notice, even when we're here, chill out a little bit before even going, even if we're having a conversation. And it was pretty much the same thing even for that, even before we had that interview. You know, got off the stage, what we were standing on the stage for, still even a good 10 minutes almost still.
It was like 15 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes. Yeah. And then being able to transfer from there to going down into the crowd, I think that still had a nice time balance before really going directly right out there. And that still, like I said, allowed that time to clear and back to centering into a space where it can be open and welcoming people in to have those conversations, whatever it is that somebody wants to talk about.
It can be a huge drain if you don't have everything set up right.
Right.
Like how you need it. You know?
Exactly. So I think that it went smooth, and that's also because we are in control. I think that's also because we're in control of our human design and a level of knowing and centering ourselves to a point where being able, like I said, to just be able to be open to the people in network. I love networking. I love talking to people about whatever it is that they want to have a discussion about, or even if it's something, I see some shoestrings that I like, I'll simply even have that conversation. I don't care what it is. If I like it and I want to talk to you and you seem like you're open to it, I'm going to have that conversation. I mean, and it can lead to other things of, hey, what do you do for a living? Oh, are you from Houston? Cool. No, I'm not from Houston, but I've been here for 10 plus years. You know, so I think that's a good thing. And like I said, the interview that we did get, it was good. It was smooth. And it's funny that you said networking, because that's really the only thing I said when we had the interview. I think that y'all had covered everything else that was being said, and I never want to over talk a situation that necessarily doesn't need for me to over talk it.
Yeah, I feel like for the whole interview, everything was just like, from that and the photo shoot, I feel like everybody was playing their role.
Yeah.
To get even a sound check, and we were just all playing a great position in order to be easy to work with. And I feel like that is a wonderful place to be as a band.
Right.
Just being easy to work with puts you so far ahead of the curve. Like, just be on time and be friendly. You know, if somebody wants to work with you or talk to them. It's not going to kill you.
At all.
You know, just I understand, like, sometimes it can get tiring. You feel like some of the conversations are just pointless because you're always talking about the same stuff.
Yeah.
But, I mean, at some point in time, you have to protect your energy. You know what I'm saying?
Big facts.
And you have to figure out, who am I going to give my time to?
Yeah.
You know, because, and if you say that, maybe it's, hey, I just can't give anybody more than a minute. As opposed to,
and that's okay too.
4-minute, 5-minute conversations.
That's okay too. And I also think that within a minute or 2 minutes anyway, you're able to see or understand if you really want to have that conversation with that person.
Yes.
Like I said, even if it's something that's so simple as me identifying, hey, I like the color of your shoestrings, but if that's what stood out to me, and then if I say something else to you and you may not be able to articulate back to me in a certain way, I'm going to end that conversation. I'm going to say, hey, all right, now have a great rest of your night, or enjoy the rest of the show.
Right. I'm going to wrap it up real quick so it's not an awkward moment.
Yeah.
But I will try to extend the olive branch if possible.
For sure, because you just never know who's in connection with who. You never know what connections they actually have. And sometimes God brings certain people within your path that connects you somewhere else, and it's not necessarily that you're even supposed to be connecting directly with them, but they have something to give you.
Or they're going to tell somebody a positive story about you.
Right,
or
right.
They're going to tell you something that you needed to know about somebody else in your path that you need to bump into.
Facts. And that's just like even with Benny Photography. Once we got off the stage, like I said, that was the very first person that I actually talked to. Because when we were still on the stage, the only other person I talked to was Joe, and then the lady that was on the stage, she asked me if she needed to move. Because when we were moving the things, and I told her, I was like, no, we're good. We have enough space. You're fine. Other than that, I really didn't talk to. Oh, and Mecca was standing on the side.
Oh, okay.
But other than that, I really, again, I was taking those moments to center myself before we got off and behind the curtain that we were behind.
There's a lot going on. Even moving all the stuff and getting everything ready, it's a process.
Yeah, of course. And I think that is no different from even vice versa, me setting up for a photo shoot. That's why even the day that on 420 coming over here at the 1 o'clock and you were in here packing your things up, it just reminds me of when I am in full photo shoot mode and I have to grab the backdrop, or if I'm not going to work at a studio but we're doing the same studio kind of look outside, I have to pack the backdrop. I have to get the C-stands. The C-stands weigh 50 pounds each.
And more importantly than that is the little things. You have to bring the cable that connects this one adapter to this camera, because that's the only way that you can even make it work. And if you get all the way out there and you don't have this, you can't even shoot. It's like, that's the stuff that you cannot forget. It's like, how many patch cables do you need?
No, for sure.
Make sure you have all them things.
Yes, indeed.
Make sure you have that battery charged. We can't be charging it out there. And if we do have to charge it out there, make sure you have that battery bank charged. So that you come on, man. If this stuff isn't done at least 48 hours in advance, it's not going to get done in time.
You're done. You're over with, because there's so many small components that make big components. I can remember the very first time. I can't pinpoint exactly what type of photo shoot it was. I got it done. But after this happened to me one time, it hasn't happened to me again. And it's also because I have a multitude of SD cards to a point where I guarantee you, even right now, out of all the other SD cards that I have taken out of my car, put back into my car, taken out of my car, put this stash in the stash, the extra stash, I guarantee you I probably could find at least one SD card in my car right now. And because I have another newer camera that actually takes the mini SD cards, but they have to be faster in order to get into into this particular camera. But outside of those, I have SD cards extra, and in my Louis Vuitton wallet, I used to have an SD card sitting right in there.
So funny.
Because again, you never know what happens. If you happen to go somewhere and you already have storage or whatever is already on that card, things might start getting good, and you need more space. But you also don't want to delete. Hello.
Man, that's embarrassing. When you gotta start making decisions of what you're gonna delete, and you can't edit out the videos, you just gotta delete the whole video.
Whole thing.
It ain't a piece of
whole
video.
thing. You gotta let it go.
15 minutes. You
gotta let it go.
And you got 5 minutes that are fire. But that other. You gonna let that 10 minutes go?
Yeah. But this is also another reason why I try to teach people, especially if you're going out to film in small components if you can. If you can afford to film in small components and turn it on and turn it off, even if it's a quick turn on, turn off real quick, as far as your record, you want to do that, because you never know.
Man, if your camera shut off and you can't save that,
if you need to delete something, you're able to.
Sometimes it takes a while. After you stop a video, your camera got to wait and process the. So if you just shut off because the battery.
Well, no, not like shutting off like this. I'm saying like the button to record.
No, I know what you're saying, but I'm saying if you're trying to record all the way through, and then it goes to the point. It may not save any of it.
For sure.
Especially if it's like a 22, 30-minute video.
Yeah.
It's going to need
because it's going to take a little bit of time for it to process. It's saying even on my newer camera, and I have fast SD cards, but
it's going to take at least, for a long video, it's going to take at least 9 seconds, 7 seconds.
Forget the video. If I take a picture right now in the highest quality even on my new camera,
3 seconds.
3 to 4 seconds at least before you can even review it.
Right.
Because it's processing all those megapixels onto that camera to let you see what it looks like. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
So we have to feel for that time and that space. And that just goes with life. We have to feel for time and space, no matter what it is.
Just let it breathe.
Exactly.
That's crazy. Okay, so I got some questions.
All right. I got some answers.
So, okay. These are just questions that help us understand and help people who follow and watch the story and watch us understand who you are and who we are as a band, okay?
All right.
So, who is Big Mama? Like, what is your story? Who are you?
Who am I? I'm Big Mama. You're on. I'm a multifaceted person. Big Mama comes from being young in human form, but yet the oldest in spiritual form. Even if I meet a person and they may be older than me, but it's the wisdom that has been embedded into me from, I can also say, centuries, because sometimes things happen and my grandma's like, how do you know that? Or, where did that come from? And I remember this when I was It's already embedded in me. But growing up, my mom, instead of her calling me my name, this is how I knew I was in trouble, if I was ever in trouble. She would call me by my first name. Or sometimes she would say Rita, but majority of the time, if I was really in trouble, she called me by my first name. And anything else, she would always call me Mama or Big Mama. Mama, what you want to do? What you want to eat, Mama? And it's always been with me since the very first day she called me that. And I also have this picture of us. We're at this fountain is behind us, and she has her legs crossed, and she's smiling. And then you can see me in the midst trying to get my leg up. My little legs, I'm like 3 or 4. I'm trying to get my little leg up and cross it over, and the picture is snapped, and I'm like this. But it's always been instilled in me, and it's funny because I asked my grandmother different questions to see who I may have been or who I may get certain traits from that was, that became an ancestor.
Right.
To be able to understand also where that type of direction even comes from, where it's embedded from, and why my mom noticed it when she did notice it. And that's how, like I said, when I got older, the big just got onto it. But yeah, it was mama all day long. Right. And then the more I got into my teenage years, it became Big Mama.
All right. And the next question would be like, okay, from your origin story.
Okay.
So what is your background? Like, if you were talking to artists or trying to explain who you are as an artist, what is your origin? Where did you get your roots?
Okay, good question. I'm originally from Louisiana. However, just a year and a half ago, I found out that my maternal lineage traces back to Guinea-Bissau. I'm excited to experience more in that. I also feel I need to be in a space, not saying I'm not in a space right now, but I need to be in a full-fledged space where maybe next summer I'll go ahead and make that transition to go there, because I'm gonna need time. I don't want to just, hey y'all, what's going on, and then I get there and I need to be there for a month or 2 months, or you know what I mean, the whole transition of the summer, and come back for August to start school. I would prefer to be able to do that and open that space, because I also know how connected I am with the djembe, to a point where I want to go find and trace back my bloodline, and that's very important to me. So that's that. But prior to all of that and finding that part out, I lived in Europe for 7 years of my life. um, living in Europe was, of course, is very much so different than the U.S. and it always has been. Um, the appreciation for everything there, life, music, sports, whatever that may be. Just even think about. Do you remember Backstreet Boys?
Mm-hmm.
All of them are American, but they didn't blow up until they went overseas.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
that's true.
Mhm. A lot of times, people have to literally leave the country that you're in.
Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, exactly. That's another one. No facts. That's another one. Mhm.
We will hate over here.
Mhm.
And other people will go be like, "Oh, they're really good," and we're like, "Oh yeah, they are. I've known
Yeah.
them forever."
Yeah.
But you didn't like them
You didn't like them.
until
Mhm.
they came over here, and we were like, "They're good." We're like, "Oh, I've seen them before." Well, why didn't you say they were good?
Hello. and it's that's the most weirdest energy to me ever.
Man.
It's ugh.
Yes.
That's all I can call it. Ugh.
Yes, it's cringe.
Pretty much
super
so.
Cringy.
But yeah, I think that, well, I know that a lot of my experiences came from my adolescence and being able to go purchase those singles, because that was a time where you can purchase a single before you're going to get the album. You're listening to those first, that one song, or technically an EP if they put it out. Those 3 songs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can't also remember when Carlos Santana came out with, what album was that? The one that Maria Maria was on. Maria.
I don't know. I think that was on another person's album.
Remind me of the West Side
I
Story.
don't think that was on his.
Nah, it was on his album. You want to know why? Because I bought the whole album for that one song.
For that song?
I
don't know
enjoyed
what that
that.
one was.
I enjoyed the whole entire album.
But that song was.
But that was the real.
Yeah.
That was the song why I purchased
remember
that
he
album.
had somebody like from 3 Doors Down singing on it or something like that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I thought that was dope. But yeah, every place that I've been has molded me into continuously trying new things. Even when even when I grew up in Europe, I was the only girl that played basketball. I was the reason that they made co-ed.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, I was the only girl that played played basketball for a long time. I was the only girl that played softball, and even then, I used to play soccer. So within those 3 sports, they had to make it co-ed because they wouldn't say no. But that's also, even outside of my brother, that's how I got good at sports. That's how I got better at music. Even growing up, my mom, funny story. Me and my brother were on punishment. Of course, we were on punishment because of something he did. And if I bring this up to him, I guarantee you he'll be able to directly tell me why we were on punishment. But I'm also a loyal sister. I've always been that kid where if something did happen, unless it's gonna kill him, I'm not gonna tell. We're gonna end up going down together, and a lot of times we.
Business.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's my brother to the end of it all.
Oh, it's supernatural.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it's this one.
Yes. That cover is crazy. That was a beautiful cover. But matter of fact, this is also around the same year that my grandmother got me the keyboard.
Okay.
We're in Germany, and we're in trouble. Again, it was less likely I was getting in trouble. I was always following behind him, and not even in a follower way, but more so, this is my big brother.
Right.
I want to be around him, and whatever he's doing. He's 7 years older than me.
Right. So if he's in trouble,
We're
gonna be in trouble.
We're just in trouble.
Yeah.
But it's also coming along to be Christmas.
Mm.
My dad's a Jehovah's Witness. He never stopped us from celebrating Christmas, which I don't think that in that type of manner, not even throwing shade, but I don't think he was going to be able to anyway.
Right.
My mom was,
Right.
that was just something that we always did holidays regardless, whether they're man-made or whatever it is. But she wanted us to be able to experience the experiences. Yeah. You know, just because this is something that you and your family believes in doesn't mean that I have to
give up the experience and just enjoying yourself.
All right, I'm gonna tell this story now. We're in trouble. It's coming up to be Christmas. My mom always, when it came to me and her asking what I would want for Christmas, I really never really had a long Christmas list. A lot of times I was always getting things throughout the years anyway. I really didn't care what I got during Christmas.
Right.
We will always open our presents almost 2 days before Christmas anyway. It was just a thing, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then this is another thing. In Europe, they have the chocolate calendars. You open up eat a chocolate every day leading up. All right. Again, sometimes we'd be having presents that we could open up in the same manner.
Right.
So this year, particularly, 2 or 3 days before Christmas, again, we're still in trouble. And my mom had gotten me a guitar. It was, you know, a little kid guitar.
Right.
I thought I was doing something to don't know not one note. It's okay though. We were grooving. We were making it do what it do. I guarantee you, if I find the case of tapes, I could find that tape.
Right.
My mom wanted us to be off for punishment. My dad, again, he was in the military, so he's very militant. It is what it is. And he was trying to put his foot down. Well, he had put his foot down. He just was attempting to put it down too far.
Right.
From there, my mom, and she's talking to him in front of us, and it wasn't a heated conversation or anything of that nature. She just, out of nowhere, I think her spirit really felt as though we had been doing good and we should be off for punishment. So she brings it up to him, and they little small back and forth from whatever they doing, and me and my brother, we just looking. We trying to figure out what the possibilities of getting off of the camp.
Here we go.
Hope it happens.
While they talking.
Hello, just look. Don't even look like you flinching and agreeing.
Right.
Okay, so they negotiated. My mom came to the conclusion. She says, "Well, I got rid of this guitar. Let's have her play it, and my brother, he would come up with poems and he would write all the time. So we had to make a song."
That is so funny.
We had to make a song, and that's how we got our punishment.
That is hilarious. That is so funny.
That's how we got our punishment.
Your mom was like, there's no way they're going to be on punishment till Christmas. And we got to end this now. We can't
have
wait till Christmas Eve talking about.
We have to.
Silent Night, y'all are off punishment. You know
exactly.
Come on, man. All the things that do not qualify as punishment we're about to be doing.
Yeah,
It just seems ridiculous.
Come on now.
That is hilarious, though.
Yeah, so from there and then coming back to the States, it was a transition. When we got back, we went back to, again, Minden, Louisiana, where I'm from originally, and born, slightly raised, partially raised.
Right.
We were there for a little while, went to high school, went to junior high school, went to high school, but it was funny because I got back in middle school in 6th grade, but the transition of going from 6th grade, I wasn't even at this junior high yet, and my basketball coach, everybody, once I got back, they found out that, "Oh, you Sherry daughter?" My mama used to hoop, my brother hoop. They already knew them for real. I had only been back to Louisiana for a summer, and it was at grandma's house. So I only got a chance to see a few selective people throughout that summer process. So nobody really knew that I played basketball how I played basketball, and I was jet lagged, so it wasn't. I would go outside and play during those times, but it wouldn't be the same me going outside to play as in Germany. I know I could go to the park. My mom's not really worried about me. I mean, she's worried about me, but it's not in a sense of, I fear somebody
I'm not
coming to
in
get
trouble.
her.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Versus being at grandma's house, she like, nah, you can't go to that park by yourself. And I'm like,
Come on, grandma.
I'm calling my mom on a calling card almost every day.
Right.
Mom, grandma won't let me do it. I'm telling.
Yeah.
Telling. Now, this is the moment. I might not have told my brother, but I'm telling. Because you're not letting me do what
My mom let me do.
my mom let me do, what my human design needs me to do. This is hello, and I won't be out of here. I had asked my mom. I said, "Mom, I know I'm here, but can you please send for me?" And she was like, "Shrita, just try to wait it out. Just try to wait it out." She didn't call me Shrita then, but
Right,
she was telling Mama, "Just wait it out, wait it out."
Right.
And I was like, ugh.
Right.
It got lighter and lighter a little bit, but she still never really let me go to the park.
Right.
She would let me go down the street and play basketball a little bit, but going to the park, everybody used to be at the park hooping. Like, I want to go down to the park where people are really coming to play basketball.
Right. Where the competition is.
So within that, again, when I got back, the coach that was at the junior high school, he would come and pick me up, and I wasn't even at that school yet. 5 o'clock in the morning, going to play basketball, learning more about basketball at the gym. This is the same coach that coached my mom and coached my brother. Coach Gilbert, R.I.P. I'll never forget him. We went 32-0.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Won the championship. And funny story about him, he was the very first person that let me drive.
Wow.
He told me to go get his lunch, and I'm thinking his wife is outside. He was like, "No, dummy, here go the keys."
All right.
I'm 11.
I'm about to drive this motherfucker.
And I did. You want to know why? Because if you had enough confidence in me to get in this car, and he was the driver's ed coach, teacher too.
Right.
So if you had enough confidence in me, I'm finna go and get this. Because I've always driven, out in the country, but not on the real road.
Right, but I'll go.
I will. Shout out to Coach Gilbert. And it's been so long ago. I don't want to tell my age, but this is when they had the big Capri Suns, the big large ones.
Right.
Baby, she brought me that Capri Sun. She said, "Here, and here go Gilbert food." I said, "Thank you." Took it back to him, got him the car back, and everything was smooth. But between basketball, after, again, being on the team and the transitioning, going to the junior high school, people wanted me to get in a band. And I had never played the snare drum.
Right.
They brought me the sticks, and now I'm in band.
Right.
It's almost been everything that I put my hands on or touch, because I am good with my hands, that it works. It happens. So I played the snare for 1 year. Then after that, when I went to 8th grade, they wanted me to play the tenor. So that really led me into being in the band in high school. When I got to high school, they were asking me if I wanted to play snare or if I wanted to play tenor. And then it was already some females on the snare line. My cousins, they was like, "Man, go on, stay on the tenor, you'll be the only female on the tenor." So I've been in moments where I've always been the only female on a certain section or a line. Excuse me. And that's cool to even just put that all together, even thinking back about that, because I never thought about that until now, and saying it out loud because of these experiences.
Right.
But yeah, I played tenor, and then after graduating high school in 2007, I played tenor for 2 years, and then I was drum major.
Oh, awesome.
So after that, I'll say, yes, I graduated in 2007, but roughly 2005-ish, 2005 was the last time I really touched a drum.
Oh, wow.
Until I went to a full moon event, and there were a whole bunch of djembes there. And one of the young ladies, Aisha, she asked me she said, "Hey sis, you want to play the drum?" And I looked at her. I said, "Why not?" And when I sat down and I touched that drum, I can't tell you enough how much the feeling in 2021 felt so amazing and through the roof to touch the drum again in that kind of environment. It was beyond words, for real.
Right.
But it felt like I was playing Tetris, because shit was just lining up. no matter what rhythm we played, everything
Right.
was just lining up, and I really enjoyed that. And
Right.
that was also the day that I met Queen Core, and I got a chance to play the drums with her. She actually came. She played the djembe as well, and she's the lady that played drums for Prince.
Oh, awesome.
The lady that I was showing y'all that day. Yeah, so that was a dope overall experience because I never knew that until after we all got done drumming. I was asking her what's her, her Instagram and everything, and she also played for Beyonce too. Yeah, she's played for a lot of other people, but for sure those two are the
Right.
main.
That you know.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because people be having deep cuts.
No, facts. Facts. She's played with Queen Latifah.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I think that it was an amazing experience to be able to play with somebody that's so skilled and so experienced. Versus, not saying I'm not, but again, I had never played the drum down in this manner, opposed to playing the drum like this. So it was just a new experience altogether. And after that night, Aisha said, "Oh, you gotta get you a drum, sis." I heard her say it one time. I went back to a different type of event and I seen her, and they happened to be drumming. And what you think she said to me? "You need to get you a drum, sis."
You ain't got you a drum yet?
Yup, that's exactly what she said. And after she said that, she said, "You can get you a drum, sis."
Yeah.
And guess what I said? This motherfucker ain't finna tell me I need to give me a drum again.
That is straight up.
On December 26, 2021, I got me a drum
That's crazy.
the day after Christmas.
Christmas present for you.
And that's exactly how I looked at it.
Like, sometimes you just gotta look at it like that when you gotta spend money.
That's a good
like,
method.
this is a Christmas present, man.
That's a good.
Ain't nobody else gonna buy it for me.
No,
I
for
would
sure.
love for somebody to buy it for me.
Right, but we gotta do things for ourselves.
Come on, man.
Mhm.
You gotta put up or shut up sometimes.
Yep, that's facts. Yeah, so I'm forever grateful for those experiences and the origin of where I come from.
I think this might help, like, segue. What are your current obstacles that you're overcoming as an artist? What are the things that you're overcoming in order to get to the next level? What are the things that people can look forward to you dealing with and struggling with in order for you to succeed?
I've already started to sharpen my skills more. I know I'm heavy. When it comes to sports, I'm okay and I'm comfortable going left, as well as I'm dominant right. But the more that I do play the djembe, I'm getting more comfortable trusting my left hand. And it's not saying that I never trusted it, but I'm getting more fluent. I'll say that. I'm getting more fluent with my left hand and being able to do the same things that I can with my right hand. And I think that's one thing. And that, again, that's something that I've been working on. Two, I would say really shaping my voice to actually, I don't want to say sing, but more so be within a spoken word type of vibration, affirmation type of music in such a sense. Will I randomly sing something? Of course. It just happens. Even the other day when I was on my Instagram and I said, "I gotta wash my hair so I can put it in a ponytail, ponytail." I mess around with stuff in that type of nature, but I think that the next level is definitely being able to utilize my voice in a different type of affirmative way, because I've had the confirmation of the different videos that I have done, even on social media, where people are like, "I needed that today."
Understood. Okay. Who needs your music? Like, what group of people would you say need to hear Big Mama?
I don't want to be cliche and say everybody, but I don't want to say but either, because that's a term of endearment. However, I want to say hurting and happy people, the H's.
Okay.
Hurting and happy people.
I love that. Okay. Are you helping your listeners survive? And let me explain. helping your listeners survive is like you have people who be like, "Oh my God, Lady Gaga, you're the reason why I made it through my depression." You know, or they be like, "Oh my God, Kid Cudi, you're the reason why I made it through senior year through your music, just studying and listening to." So, are you helping your listeners survive? Do you have music like that?
I want to say yes, and I also want to say even moving more towards that, because at the very moment with releasing Dreaming in Chaos in March, at the beginning of March, I think it was March 4th I released it. Yes, I have a nice amount of streamers, and the more that I meet people, being able to give them the opportunity to listen to the music and how to access it. Dreaming in Chaos was literally created for literally dreaming in the chaos, being able to focus your mind even within the busy things that are going on around you, being able to center yourself. Just the other day, I had a fellow drummer, fellow brother, James. I didn't know that he downloaded Dreaming in Chaos, and he says, "Oh yeah, I downloaded that track," and I looked at him. I said, "What you talking about?" Because I like people to use their words. I don't want to assume anything. And he says, "The Dreaming in Chaos EP." I put my hand on my shoulder. I said, "For real?" He said, "Yeah, I seen you posting it, and I went to check it out, and I appreciate the music." He says, "It actually inspired me to go ahead and get a handpan, and I want you to help me learn how to play it." And I was like, that's dope. Because he also is a breathing coach. And I know that tool will also help him with his audience and what he does. That's awesome. And I think that sometimes people are so caught up on, oh, so-and-so's trying to copy me. But no, you have to look at it from a perspective of influence. I think that it's a difference when people come to you with genuine love and an open heart versus them trying to do something behind your back and they know you and you know them.
You help somebody grow in themselves and find a part of themselves that they thought was missing, as opposed to somebody scrounging in your garbage to find something that makes you unique and say, "I'm just going to take this."
Yeah. You know? And a lot of times it's just the acknowledgement.
Yeah.
The acknowledgement.
Of saying that, you know what, I really like this. And is it okay if I just,
yeah, this has inspired me.
Piece of this,
yeah, because I use this analogy. Even when it comes to my teaching, I'm made up of, it goes back to the question about the origin. I'm made up of so many different pieces in order to make the gumbo. It reminds me of even when I was in 3rd grade, I still remember my 3rd grade teacher, Miss Akins. Shout out to Miss Akins. When I stayed in Atlanta, Georgia, literally. Yeah. She was that. Yeah. She was, and I could break everything and what that means, but she was that. She didn't take no shit, even in 3rd grade. Right. She set a certain standard, and it was this, or you over there. And the moment that you become over there, beware.
Right. Straight up. Because I can't help you no more. And so, how, we were talking about earlier about current obstacles. So, how are you overcoming your current obstacles?
By doing that. Some people probably can see it. They probably can't. It's a Nike tattoo. It's a Nike tattoo. Every tattoo that I have is not only a reminder for myself, but from a perspective of, and then even on this, no, it's right here, yeah, on this arm. Just doing it. First and foremost, just doing it. No matter what the end result may be. Because you're able to learn from just doing it. You don't know if you can do something unless you go ahead and do it. True. It's just like riding a bike for the first time. You don't know whether you're gonna fall unless you have the fear of really literally falling. Even when somebody takes the training wheels off, if somebody's holding it, you don't realize they're not holding it anymore until you turn around and look. You're like, oh shit, ah!
Yeah, you're right.
You start to put fear in your own heart.
Right.
Outside of even anybody saying anything. Sometimes we really put fear in our own heart. And it's very important for us to just do it. And that's the only reason I ever got a Nike tattooed on me. Because of what it represents.
Yeah.
And
all you can do is fail, and if you fail, you learn.
Hello. And that's why I say, and also the tattoo that's next to it. Because sometimes you have to let things go, and then there's balloons here. When you let balloons go, you'll never see them again, ever. Ever. It's a lot of things that us as individuals, we have to let go in order to get to the next step.
Yeah.
And I think that is all incorporated into how to get over those things and move through those obstacles and apply what you need to.
Okay. How can your audience or your fans, how will they know when you're thriving, or how are you going to thrive? What will be
They'll be able.
People be like, I'm rich when y'all see me XYZ. You know what I'm saying? So what are going to be the key giveaways that, oh yeah, she thriving?
Material-wise, I don't think that I'll be able to differentiate that pinpoint, because I already, even to this point, I just do what I want and get what I want. If I put my name on it, I'm getting it. I can't say it's physical other than, again, continuously coming along for the journey and the ride and following, or I won't even say following, supporting the elevation throughout. Being able to see, even for myself, I have old videos on my Android phone that I used to use just for storage from when I first started drumming. I would record myself because I dedicated a full year, even if it was 5 minutes, of me playing my drum. And you'll be able to see the difference from then to now. And if you were already there when I first started, you understand.
Right.
And I think that will be the biggest thing. Again, as I tell you all, content is king and queen. It is the mother and the father. Because no matter how we want to look at things, are you aware of the movie Memento?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I'll sum it up real quick. Memento inspired me more than anything in my theater class. I went to sleep on majority of all the other movies that they showed. I was up for Memento, and of course The Godfather. The Godfather is one of my favorite movies. We watched all three of them in there. I was up.
Right.
Front and center.
Yeah.
And but the other movies, they were too slow for me to stay full-fledged interested. I passed my test, but it was hard for me to physically stay up, but Sleep Sharita still heard everything that was going on and taking place. From there, but Memento, he lost his memory. He got hit so hard into a fight, or I think it was a fight because his wife got killed, and he was trying to find and put the pieces together on how to find his wife's killer. But in the midst of these things, he remembered certain things because he heard it.
Okay.
Or when he would be in certain areas or certain rooms, he would feel this certain energy. And he also had tattoos. He would put tattoos on his legs, and so he can remember. And it was all about seeing, because you're more able to know, or quote unquote, as people say, believe, when you can see it.
Right.
If you can show me that you know how to write your name, then I'm going to trust that you can write your name. It's no different. What I'm getting to is these things add up because he was also taking Polaroid pictures as he was walking around and going to certain scenes and things, and he was referencing back to these things. So just imagine if you're somebody God forbid, 15, 20 years later, you may lose your memory or something happens and you're able to pick up a picture or watch a video, and it places you in that moment, in that time. And that's why I say it's so important for us to create, because even when we are leaving this earth, at least the people that knew us or loved us or heard about us later on down the line, or a week before we passed away, at least they'll be able to again reference that archive that you left behind for them.
As opposed to going through their phone talking about, I don't have enough videos. No, y'all want to hear me talk? There's hours and hours and hours of unadulterated, raw, uncut, unfiltered conversations. If you were to go listen, it's me playing music, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and that also became a thing for me, especially my mom transitioned when I was 17, but it became a thing for me to record my grandmother more. Even if it wasn't on video, but if it's audio recording. Hey, how you doing? Hey, lady, how you doing? How you feeling? You know, because again, whether I go before her or she goes before me, guess what? At least we both have the access to those things, especially when they get ready to go back through my phone or whatever it is.
Right. Yeah.
And they find those archives and say, "Oh my gosh, did you know Sharita had
all of
this content?"
Had a vault, a mini Prince vault.
Because even the times that she's dropped gems,
yeah,
or even myself, and I've said something to her and she's like, I had to sit on that. I had to let that process. It's a beautiful exchange to be able to, again, you just never know what you're able to do with that content. Make a documentary later.
Right.
Maybe put her on a track where she's saying something.
You saying documentary sort of sums up the last couple of points. So then the last ones aren't really things that you have to say, but they're just things that you should sort of reflect on. Because if you want to say some things, you can. It's your world. But the thing was, right.
It's my world.
So what are your core values?
Do you remember Wayne's World?
Yes.
Okay, that just dawned on me when you said it's my world, though. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Hey, and Bobby's world. Both of them.
Yes.
And so, what are your core values, and how do you want to tell your story? How do you want to brand your story? You know, so just
through
to talk to our fans, and what can they expect from you, and what can they expect from your content and what you're trying to preach.
Love, peace, understanding, having integrity, standing for something. Gratitude and appreciation for everything around you. Even the things that seem like they're bad or downhill. I literally just told somebody this earlier. I told Tata this. He said, yeah, it's been up. And I told him, I said, even if it's down, it's still up. Just have to turn it around. Everything is about perspective and how you look at it. Even when it feels uneasy, how can you make it feel better? By just centering yourself and being within and going inner in order to put out the proper things and not have to feel regret. And being able to live on without, again, like I said, regret, because we just never know what will happen to anybody in life until it happens.
Yeah. Some people snap. Over small stuff, which
Over
you think is small.
But
for them,
it's something.
It's a compounding issue. Or like you said, somebody triggered me. I went to a show and this boy acted like he was gonna shoot himself.
Yeah.
And I thought it was confirmation from God.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
No.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
No,
Stop listening to that particular voice in your head.
He was talking about in-ear monitors.
It's killing me.
Yeah.
The in-ear monitor is killing me.
You took it the wrong way, man.
But that's why I say it's so important that we understand not even knowing the smallest influence that you may have on somebody's life
Yeah.
by something that you may have done, or a gesture, or somebody seeing you smoke a cigarette and they're like, oh, I'm gonna smoke cigarettes because
it's cool.
yeah, it's very much so cool. It has to be because Troy's doing it.
Or I saw Daddy doing it.
Yeah, I saw Daddy doing it. And you want to know, that's a prime example of, even when I've been in situations where I might be over a friend's house and they have kids, and somebody asks, oh, where can I smoke? And they say, you good? Sit right there, you good. The kids are all right there and everything. And people that, again, it goes back to the integrity and a certain standard. Just because you may smoke in front of your kids, you don't know how I make your kids feel. Or that particular person may make your kids feel. And they may be very much so influenced by them. Yeah. And it might become a habit that they wouldn't have done.
They may be really looking up to this person. And this is the person who, like, when they smoke, they're like,
yep.
If they smoke, I should smoke.
Yep.
Crack.
Yep.
You know, it's like,
and that's sometimes how it starts.
Smoking cigarettes. You went to crack.
But again,
hey, what do you know when you're a 3-year-old and you see somebody lighting up?
It's still smoking.
What's the difference?
It's still smoking, exactly.
They're smoking.
Exactly.
Hey, they may smoke come out their mouth. Yes, cool.
Yeah. So just again, letting the message know that it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to feel. You may think that you are alone, or you feel alone because those people that you might want to call you aren't calling you or inviting you out. Those really truly aren't your people.
Yeah.
God is saving you not to be called out.
Right.
Next thing you know, you in a world of trouble. And you questioning yourself, damn, how I'm sitting in this jail cell? Right. Because you decided to go with Bethy, Jan, and Joe to go do what they usually do.
And they didn't even like you.
And they didn't even like you, and next thing you know, you set up.
They only asked you because you got the Chick-fil-A gift certificate.
Hello.
At the lunch thing, and they know you got $150 worth of Chick-fil-A. They were like, "Hey, y'all want to go to Chick-fil-A before we go?" And looked at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess.
And gonna use it all up until they can't use you no more.
Hey, use all your little food. You want to come to lunch with us again? Nah.
But you want to be around. You just want to be around. You want to feel, oh, they like me. Oh. I got the car, so they gonna call me.
They got the new Tesla. I can ride with them. Oh my God, it's gonna be so cool.
Oh my God.
You can ride in the front. Ooh.
Next thing you know, you in a situation and you stealing, or you involved with something. And you really didn't even want to be in this moment.
Whose oxycodone pills are these? These are hers. These are totally hers.
Yep.
No, they're not.
And 3 people that said it is versus you.
And this is all of theirs. All 3 of
Every
them.
last one of them.
They went to Chick-fil-A to meet up with their
plug.
connect.
Yep.
The same money that you spent on your card for them is how much they ended up spending for their pills.
But am I lying?
Feeling dumb as hell.
I'm not lying.
You're not. That's exactly what happened.
And that's why I say we just have to become, again, one with ourselves and okay and comfortable with ourselves, to be able to sit with ourselves long enough to know that no matter how many times somebody may have called me weird, I'm weird in a great way.
I might be weird, but I'm not suicidal.
Hello.
So you can call me whatever the fuck you want to call
Hello?
me, as long as I'm okay with me.
At peace.
Hey, I might be weird, but I'm weird enough to know that I want to be alive.
Hello.
After you tell me that I'm not important to you.
I like doing weird, healthy things.
Straight up.
Period.
Straight up.
I'm gonna touch grass.
Straight up. Don't play with me with a good time.
Okay. But yeah,
a heartbeat.
definitely.
What's wrong with these?
Yeah. I'm gonna learn how to play guitar from the time from kid. I was just strumming that thing. Yeah. I'm pushing all kind of things. I think at one point I had my whole hand on those.
What are you doing? I'm getting it. Yeah,
you getting it, all right.
You're getting it for sure.
Hey, we got it because we got our punishment. We did.
Oh my God, that is hilarious.
We definitely did.
Yeah, it was good enough.
Yeah, hello.
You gave some good smiles.
And some good laughs.
Yeah.
Some good laughs.
It's like, yeah, that's good enough.
Some things that'll be able to, again, be able to just reference.
Right, for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Just have it in the back of your mind. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we tore the house down one time.
No, facts. But it also helped with our confidence on a whole nother level.
Yes.
Of just being able to be on spot and y'all gotta perform.
Yeah.
If y'all want to get off punishment, y'all gotta perform.
Entertain me.
And it has never made me doubt anything that I've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that I want to do is possible across the board.
It just gives you more confidence once you start stretching that at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
That, hey, you can do it if you just try.
That's it.
And if you would have never tried, you would really never know, hey, I can kick my body into another gear.
Yep.
Whenever I'm scared and nervous, like, there's another gear after that, which is, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
You may not feel great about it.
Right.
It's
You can do it.
because you've never done it before. Just get used to this gear.
Yep.
Then you'll get comfortable. Then you're like, oh, okay.
Exactly.
I can be nervous and still effective.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I can be good at something still.
Yeah. Because that's what I plan to do. I never been snowboarding, but for my birthday,
Oh wow, that is so crazy.
I'm gonna go ahead and go snowboard. Yeah.
Dang, where do you want to go?
When we go up to Denver, like I'm gonna drive to Yellowstone, but when we get up into that,
and go because
hello.
Because I'm thinking it's in the middle of the summer. I'm like, where the hell you going?
Oh, but you know, in the mountains.
Yeah, Denver, they got
Buku.
24/7.
Buku.
Yeah, they got
the higher up you go into a mountain, the most snow you
that's
see.
the perfect place to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't have to go, super far up to get where you going.
Yeah. Once you start hitting that good part of that elevation, you're gonna be elevated, all right.
And it's just enough. 'Cause you can get into the snow and get right out into the normal heat.
Facts.
So that's the perfect kind of snow situation for me. Because I don't want to be freezing for 6 miles hiking up a mountain. No.
Do you hear me?
It was hot at the bottom.
It was hot. You had to change clothes on your way out.
At the top.
No, facts. You gotta change the midways.
Jacket when we get down. By the time we get halfway down, boy, it's 75 degrees.
No, for real.
We got up here. It was all 45. A little bit of ice on it. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. That's why I was laughing the other day because, I caught myself on Levi's yet again, but I had screenshotted this jacket, and I was like, people are probably like, why are you looking and shopping for freaking jackets in the middle and it's about to be summer?
Because now's the time.
That, but more so is because I know that I was be going out of town to somewhere cold.
Oh, yeah, and I need to find what I need now.
Yep.
Now
and what I want. Hello?
Start eyeing it now. Hey, and while you playing, you might go to Colorado and find it up there even. Because those cold places really have the stuff, and they just don't sell it down there because we don't need it
At all.
So
At all.
What y'all gonna do with these heavy fleece jackets? You show right.
I had to return some stuff one time from Denver that I had got, and I returned it down here, and that was, where this come from? I was like, Denver. It's like, oh, it makes sense.
Somebody gonna buy it before you get back.
No,
up there.
facts.
Somebody will be like, whoa.
Yeah, let me get that.
Yeah,
let me get that.
Go
That's
to,
nice.
Sacramento, I need.
Yep.
Come on, let me go and jump in there.
Yes, indeed.
But that's beautiful. I think that is an amazing wrap up, a synopsis. Joe and I, we went through these same questions, and we were talking about, just things that we're interested in, our backstories and all that stuff. And
so now I guess I can watch the live since I was told not to watch the live.
I didn't want her to watch the live because I didn't want her to know the question.
That's cool.
Before she asked. And so while I was asking Joe the questions, and while he was answering the question, he got like 3 into it, and I was like, I guess I should be answering these too while you're doing it. So I went through and answered them, and then started doing them while he was doing it. So you'll be able to watch both of us answer the questions.
Okay. See
your answers, and then after that, we just talked a little bit about our core values and branding and stuff. And I was saying like I want to do like a documentary style with the way that I want to put out my stuff. My core values are like, just telling the truth in a revolutionary way and being open to other options and stuff like that, but also trying to network with people who are like-minded and finding ways that we can all be successful in our own avenues.
Right.
As opposed to just feeling like, well, this is my thing.
No, for sure.
Things that I'm really struggling with is like just bringing more people in and working with more people. And the way that I've been dealing with that is by just inviting a lot more people. Just overloading myself with, well, let's see who wants to come. Yeah, exactly.
Just do it.
I'm just going to do that and see how it works. And if it doesn't work, then I'll be fine. And so I've been working on that, and I'm going to keep on doing it.
Right.
And after all of that, we started talking about where we see ourselves as a band and as individuals going.
Okay.
So do you see yourself more so right now, in this energy right now, do you see yourself leaning more to we should do another live show, or more to we should record more music?
Both. Both.
I'm under the energy,
and not even in a certain order. Both.
Yeah.
I take that back. I would rather record the music first before we do another live show, just from the music business standpoint and being able to get those PROs.
Yes.
And not miss out on money or streamings that we can from a show situation, because when we do get ready to go to a show and we say, hey, we're a Voeo, if people really enjoy the music and like the music, hey, you can find us on boom all platforms, and
that's where I'm at.
This is that.
I feel like it's pointless, for as good as we're doing on the first show, for us not to have a full rollout.
Yeah.
Next time we perform.
For sure.
So,
I agree.
That's where I'm at. But I do also, I feel like Joe should have his own project come out. I should have my own project come out. You should have your own project come out. And then we should have a Voeo project come out.
Yeah, it's cool.
And then we can promote all of these things at the same time.
Right.
And not have to worry about it. But while all of us are doing that, it's going to make it easier for us to cross-pollinate one another.
Yeah, and even on my phone, I have many sample recordings that I know. Even when I'm at home and the birds may be chirping super loud or the air conditioner pops on, I usually just use it as a reference in order to go back when I am in a real recording space, that I can go back and reference this rhythm and put that main rhythm down as a bass, and then add in my tambourines or my clicking and shaker sounds and whatever else may want to go on top of it. I met a guy that plays the flute yesterday, actually. So the game is wide open.
Yeah, now is the time to start figuring out, when do you want your stuff to drop? How many things are you going to put in? It's going to be an EP, it's going to be an LP, or is it just going to be a mixtape? Or, you know, what do you want to do so we can support?
Yeah, I think
what we need from you so you can support.
Right.
And then we'll just all get in here and start practicing on tunes, on new stuff, and then practicing on the old stuff, getting more locked in with that, and then just getting to the point to where when anybody says, hey, do y'all want to do a show, we're like attacking like ravenous dogs.
Right.
They're just like, these niggas are on it.
Right.
You know, as opposed to, let's get ready real quick.
No, for sure, rightfully so. Yeah, I know, because I don't think I know. I know that dropping another EP is the goal, because with doing it via the handpan, I already had all of those already recorded for real and prepared. And I knew that it had already done its justice for me, stored in my phone or on my computer. And there was nothing, yes, I could keep listening to it and ordering my own music, but I needed to get it out to the people. And whoever would appreciate it.
Yeah.
And even if people stumble across it later on, it's already there.
Yeah. We can't hoard ideas anymore.
It's not going to do you any justice.
Yeah. We can be doing as creative.
Yeah.
Because like you said, sometimes you're helping other people discover themselves.
Yeah.
So what if your favorite artist never got to hear Michael Jackson? Imagine how different their life would be.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, I don't even like you anymore. And like, you're a horrible artist because you don't know Prince or Michael. Like, thank God that they were themselves, so you could try to steal a little bit Chris Brown.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Chris Brown without Michael is probably sort of whack. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be honest. Michael
Yes, and but we will also never know
Exactly.
because they happen the way they happen for a reason.
Exactly. And so I say all that to say, let's not be
Doubtful.
gatekeepers.
Oh, okay.
Gatekeepers.
Yeah, that's a good word too. Gatekeepers.
Of our own things. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, like,
if you
we
created
may think
it,
it's corny, but somebody else may think in 20 years this is the way, the truth,
Yeah.
and I'm going to make a whole play based off of this one thing. You
Facts.
know what I'm saying?
Because just imagine how much Prince was ahead of his time before people that didn't know started to figure it out. It makes all of the difference. It makes all of the difference. He had to run real quick, real quick. Like I told y'all, I'ma start me. I'ma get in that booth just to hear myself on the playbacks. But yes, indeed, I hope that whoever watches this has a great rest of your day as well. But yeah, just to repeat what I was saying, even, I guess 412, even with Prince, think about how much ahead of his time he was.
Oh, yeah.
And then somebody listens to his music and how it correlates with today.
Mm-hmm.
It just goes hand in hand. I think, I know that you stumble across certain things at the perfect time, that you were supposed to hear it and you were supposed to be there.
Yeah, even like how everything worked at the show. Like everything is happening in its own time, and I'm not mad at it at all. I'm excited that we have an opportunity to be the people that people are like, hey, let's give them a shot. So I don't want to ruin that opportunity, and I don't want to ruin the momentum.
Right.
Which is why very shortly you'll probably be seeing us putting something out to where we can take advantage of the fact that people are definitely giving us an opportunity. So we want to try to get more gigs, more paid shows, more opportunities for placements of our music and stuff like that. So we'll keep you guys updated with all of that stuff. And
if they don't give us the opportunity, we're going to create it for ourselves.
Exactly. We'll just do our own show. And we might just be doing that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it is nice when people give money so that you can make it super nice and make festivals and stuff. So we're not against that if you guys have any opportunities.
At all.
Them our way.
At all.
And yeah.
We love some extra coins to make sure that we're doing what we need to do.
Straight up. If y'all want us to make personalized songs for you or your business, we'll do that too.
Yes, we will. Jingles.
Yeah, we appreciate you for listening. Thank you, Big Mama, for coming in and
of course, thank you for having me.
Spilling all the beans and just letting us know what's going on in your head during all these processes. Because all of this is new for all of us. It's our first show together as a group, and for a first show, it's going fantastic. Like I said yesterday, we got cover photos on 97.9 and on the Warehouse Live page, which I've never had, Joe's never had, and both of us have been performing for a long time. And Mama's never had, and so just having that on our first show, that's a pretty big deal, and it's a great momentum starter. So we want to make sure that we're consistently giving people reasons to post us and to show us, to talk about us, to listen to us, to buy things from us, and the only way we're going to do that is by creating products. So right now we are like Santa's workshop, just coming up with stuff, because y'all know we have the ideas, but y'all need to be able to touch it.
Yeah.
So we're make it tangible into reality. So we appreciate you guys for watching. We might go live again today with Rodeo Joe. Whoa. Might go live again today with Rodeo Joe, and thank you again, Big Mama, for coming through.
Thanks for having me.
Giving us a recap, and we will see you guys soon.
Peace.
Y'all make sure that y'all love yourself.
Love and soul. Ain't that what he used to say? Exactly. Don Cornelius.
Yeah. All right, y'all.
Love.